Tonight we are talking about climate change. It is one of the big stories we are covering for you today. A White House report has come out talking about some of the concerns facing our nation throughout the Southeast and the Northeast. Big concerns coming out of Washington, and they say it is all due to rising sea levels. The Great Plains could experience heavier droughts and heat waves, according to this report out of the White House. Then there is the threat of wildfires as well, and Florida is, quote, exceptionally vulnerable to these risks.
We have live team coverage with the impact that this could have on our area here in South Florida. News Channel 5's Michael Williams is live kicking off our team coverage up in Jupiter. Michael.
Thank you very much, Jay and Shannon. I'm about a mile south of Carlin Park, and you look at this tranquil scene, and all of us know that sun and surf and sea and sand are the very foundation of our livelihoods, our life, our economy in Florida, but all of that threatened by the consensus of scientists with this national climate assessment who mirror international opinion in saying that climate change is real, it's here, and it's having an impact. On a day like this, you say, what's the big deal? But for instance, the Army Corps of Engineers suggest that by 2030, sea level rises along our coastline could be anywhere from 3 to perhaps 7 inches. No big deal, but it's a sloping shoreline. Look out there. At high tide, that means water heading in. And look at this on the tape measure. By some Army Corps estimates, sea level rise by 2060 could be anywhere from 9 all the way to 2 feet. That's a lot of water, especially at high tide, moving inland, moving into marshes where fresh water is pushed out, where salt water intrudes, where the freshwater wells we rely on are polluted by salt water. Already that's happened in Broward County, one city spending $10 million to move its wells west to supply fresh water for people to drink. Sea level rise, temperature rise, less fresh water. Those are real concerns, not yesterday, not someday 100 years from now. It's happening now. And for more on all this, and we're going to look at this over the next hour and a half, let's go to our chief meteorologist, Steve Weigel, for a big picture perspective. Steve?
Yeah, Michael, I want to expand on your tape measure demonstration that you just showed. You know, we're going to see this sea level rise, an increase of half a foot to a foot. But when you take in the account of hurricanes and storm surge, it's much more dramatic. So storms that might have brought a storm surge area right up to your house, it'll now be in your house. So in future hurricanes, this is going to be a massive issue. Here's a look at some graphics I put together to show what we're looking at as far as storm surge in the years to come and sea level rise. As we go through decade after decade, that rise starts to encompass houses and homes and businesses along the coastline. Florida, one of the most susceptible areas in the entire country, and of course around the world too. Also, it's not only fresh or saltwater intrusion, we're also looking at freshwater flooding, and that is from strong hurricane and rain events. And here's our second graphic that shows you that we're starting to see in the last few decades more dramatic, very, very dramatic rainfall events with heavy precipitation, heavy rainfall, and flooding from that. So it's not only salt water that we're seeing the flooding from, it's also fresh water too. Obviously, as I mentioned, we're one of the most susceptible areas in the country as far as beach erosion. Brian Enton is in Lantana.